Today on Forbes, one of the last robot truckers standing, finally ready to hit the road. The self-driving vehicle landscape is littered with the corpses of those who tried and failed. Last year saw General Motors pull the plug on Cruise. Rivals Ford and Volkswagen scuttled their lavishly funded Argo AI venture in 2022, and Uber offloaded its self-driving tech unit in 2020 after a fatal accident. Then there are the smaller companies who died before many had even heard of them. Too Simple, Embark, Ike, and Starsky Robotics. Alphabet's Waymo, the oldest and best-funded self-driving firm, is the big exception here, with robotaxi fleets in Phoenix, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, and plans to expand into Austin, Atlanta, and Miami. Forbes estimates its revenue topped $100 million last year and may rise substantially in 2025. Then there's Aurora Innovation. Founded in 2017 by 3 autonomous driving experts from Google, Tesla, and Uber, it's managed to stay alive and is the only pure publicly traded U.S. autonomous vehicle stock left. But more than 3 years after going public, it hasn't yet booked revenue. And it's been forced to delay the launch of its driverless truck services twice. Co-founder and CEO Chris Urmson says that won't happen again, and come spring, Aurora will get on a similar road to commercial success as its Alphabet-backed rival, which he led when it was incubating inside Google. Urmson told Forbes, quote, "We expected that this was a hard enough problem that there was only going to be a handful of people to solve it. And it's kind of played out that way. Waymo seems to have cracked it, and we're on the cusp of launching in April." That launch, which was first supposed to happen in 2023, will begin with a single semi-truck hauling loads between Dallas and Houston. Others will follow, and Aurora hopes to have, quote, tens of trucks on the road by the end of the year, some of them traveling a second route between El Paso and Fort Worth. It's a purposely slow start, and even if all goes well, investors will need to be patient, likely for years, before Aurora generates revenue and profits to justify its $11.7 billion market cap. Aurora has more than $1 billion and isn't facing any immediate danger from the funding, safety, or management problems that killed some competitors. But the timeline for when and if it enters the black remains fuzzy, assuming all goes well in April. Meanwhile, the challenges, technical and business, are daunting. Developing computing systems better at instantaneously processing visual data, finding cheaper and more powerful sensors for detailed images of road conditions and hazards, and in the case of trucking, building and wrangling a mess of relationships with freight companies and truck makers. Allison Malik runs Middle Third, a mobility tech consultancy, co-founded the autonomous shuttle startup May Mobility, and was part of the GM Ventures team that acquired Cruise in 2016. She said, quote, "Transportation is a huge global industry worth trillions of dollars, which is exciting, but it's also generally low margin. And you have to have a full suite of relationships, which is a lot of work to set up in trucking because it's a highly fragmented industry." Investors are eyeing Aurora with cautious optimism. Early this month, the company's languishing shares, which traded below $5 for much of 2024, spiked 29% to close at $8.39 on news of tech partnerships with AI chip behemoth NVIDIA and truck parts maker Continental. Since then, however, much of that gain has been lost. Aurora and remaining competitors like Kodiak and Wabi are developing AI-enabled big rigs for a simple reason. The trucking industry generates about $1 trillion of annual revenue and faces a shortage of human drivers. If they can successfully commercialize the tech, the autonomous truck business could be worth $600 billion annually by the mid-2030s, according to a McKinsey study. For full coverage, check out Alan Owensman's piece on Forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.